What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy VIII. It's been like a week and a half since I recorded one of these. I'm finally back from PAX. I met Sakaguchi at PAX! But I didn't have anything for him to autograph. It was still cool, though. As was his panel. Still reeling from jet lag. But we'll make it through, somehow. So last time we executed the kidnapping of Galbadian President Vinzer Delling. Except it wasn't the actual president, it was one of his body doubles. But we are still under contract by the Forestals, Timber's resistance group, one of many actually. We're still under contract with them basically until Timber acquires independence, so we're pretty much slaves at this point to Renoa and the Forestals. So failure doesn't mean much anyway, kind of like this Galbadian captain's failure to keep his troops in line. They're just gonna go out and wreak havoc. So, among other things, the trains aren't running on schedule anymore because of our shenanigans, except the one that apparently just arrived to drop us off here. The trains are gonna stop running. The occupying Galbadian soldiers are gonna crack down on the citizens of Timber. It's all our fault because we failed to capture the president, because we tried in the first place. So the lesson we should learn from all this is never try. Oh, also we can't stay at the hotel. Oh, boo-hoo. So we're gonna have to make our way through Timber to the TV station, which is, as we've learned, apparently jet lag affects the verb tenses. It's located somewhere near Timber Maniacs, but we're gonna take a quick detour over here. Little boy's talking about Georgie, his dog. We're gonna check the pet shop out real quick. You could get things for Guardian Forces to heal them up, teach your Guardian Forces abilities, makes Guardian Forces forget. Pet Pals, the magazine, volumes 3 and 4. That's what we want, though. Because, as I described previously, Pet Pals magazine is what will allow Renoa's dog Angelo, jet lag. That's what's going to allow Angelo to learn new abilities, which function as Renoa's limit breaks. So we have Angelo Strike from Volume 1, Invincible Moon, and Angelo Reverse finds Phoenix Downs to revive KO'd party members. Okay, so we can actually start teaching Angelo any of those tricks now, but I think he's already set to learn the first trick that we found out about from Volume 1, and Timber Maniacs is just right over here. Let's check around with the receptionist. Battle Series books lying around. Squall's apparently a big fan of those. And we're just gonna have a look around here. I know that there are a couple of hidden things inside here, like this Blizzaga draw point. Very strong ice magic. And then out here, kind of do a little bit of pixel hunting out here. There it is. The Girl Next Door magazine. It's not really a usable item. It is, let's see, a naughty magazine. It's a porno mag, which we can sell to a character later on in the game. Not too far from now, if I remember right. You can talk to the editor here in this room. You can also find an issue of Timber Maniacs. The editor just goes on telling you his life story. It's really boring, and Squall even correctly comments that it's boring as hell and this dude is full of regrets and yada yada. What is this house? This is the house that Zone or Watts, I always mix those two up, was telling us about. So, we have to go through the back alley to get to the TV station, because the other way is blocked off. You can see the back alley from the second floor window, but we can't get to it from here. My parents fight a lot. Can't wait to meet a great guy so I can scream and exchange blows with him. Oh right, about Timber Maniacs. They're a 20-year-old publisher in this world who now they're really only capable of moving copies of this shitty series of books. We actually will learn more about Timber Maniacs in a future series of segments. So there are also the 12 titular Timber Maniacs magazines. Collecting those Timber Maniacs magazines will change certain events that we'll encounter later in the game. The major ones being certain aspects of the Laguna sections. Let's see, over here, the guards are talking about how they beat some local up and took his shit. Let's avenge that mysterious man who totally will not be in the next area we're heading to. Right in the pub. We actually have to cross through the pub to get to that back alley leading to the TV station, so we'll just beat these fellas up. Renoa's weapon is puzzling. She'll just take a little rest. She's tuckered out. There is a trick that just reminded me since her limit break popped up at the end of the fight. There is a trick you can do to get a limit break every time. Basically, when your character, when it's a character's turn, if you hit the cancel button, which is normally triangle, it might on some versions of the game be something weird. God knows some button configurations of the Steam version are weird. If you hit the cancel button, though, and you just keep canceling and popping their turn up again, eventually you'll get a limit break out of it, if they're within range to perform a limit break when they're at that critical health level. So we have this drunk guy here blocking our exit to the back alley. We're gonna have to find a way to move him out of the way. He's blaming the resistance group for the soldiers cracking down and being assholes, which he has a fair point. We did kind of cause this ruckus. So we want to try to get this drifter to move along. And he is, in fact, the guy who got his shit stolen, so we're gonna offer him the card that we got for beating those two guards outside. We got that Buell card, and he is so thankful and so generous that we got his card back for him that he lets us keep his shitty Buell card, and also gives us Tonberry card, which, if I'm not mistaken, you can refine the Tonberry card into a chef's knife, which is used to make one of Squall's better weapons. I think the Flame Saber requires a Tonberry knife. This guy's slurring sounds less like drunk slurring and more like just a little kid. I dwank too much. I got into Daddy's Wicca cabinet. There was a lot of whiskey in there. Daddy says I can't have whiskey, but I dwanked a whiskey. And then I got fuzzy-headed. And then I flew up a lot. But that's okay, I didn't dwink and drive. I didn't dwink and drive like Daddy does. Daddy dwinks and drives a lot. That's why they took his license away. I have to stop. You might notice that there are garbled words scrolling across the screen and flashing up. There are 3 distinct phrases that you can make out here. And those phrases are, I am alive, bring me back there, and I'll never let you forget me. And we're going to find out who or what is causing those messages and this interference. Quite a ways into the game, actually. I forgot how deep into the game you actually start to solve that mystery. But right now, it's looking like Vinzer Delling, the actual president this time, is inside the broadcast tower. And he's too heavily guarded for us to make a direct assault. And Squall is kind of now questioning the competency and resolve of Renoa and her Forest Owls, the resistance group. Yeah, for once, I actually agree with Squall. This whole resistance seems kind of shoddy. Worst resistance group ever. Yeah, maybe it was a big mistake, Renoa. Maybe. Just maybe. But we are still, regardless of all of this and how silly and terrible the Forest Owls are at their jobs, we still are under contract with them. until Timber is once again independent. So, Renoa has run off. Oh, and here they go. Here's Vinzer Delling in his broadcast. We finally get to see what they wanted, what Galbadia wanted this broadcast capability for. Always love the announcer getting really excited. And you have to figure, if you weren't able to broadcast, if you weren't able to do anything for 17 years, and then all of a sudden regained that capability, rediscovered something lost, you'd be pretty excited and lose your composure too. So we're bringing Vinzer Delling on stage now to make his big announcement. What has been so important to the Galbadian president that's been driving the plot forward this whole time? Lifelong president of Galbadia. Dictator for life. Caesar, if you will. So he has a peace proposal. That's pretty good, right? But there are some trifling problems between Galbadia and the other nations. The occupation, colonization for one, that's a pretty big deal. So he's going to announce an ambassador for a meeting with the other nations. And the ambassador is going to be a sorceress, so he wants to appoint a sorceress by the name of Edea to be ambassador. And Cypher and Quistis even have come in and screwed everything up and are now threatening to kill the president. So that's what Galbadia wanted this broadcast capability for. While this is really going nowhere except for Quistis telling Squall and the gang to get up here right away, while that's going on, I'll say this. Sorceresses in Final Fantasy VIII's world are a pretty big deal. They're differing from normal people in that normal people can only use magic with some form of heavy assistance, for instance, by junctioning. It's not just a gameplay mechanic. Junctions are actually story relevant. So normally you have to junction magic, or you have to use a limit break or a guardian force or something. Sorceresses lack that limitation. They are natural magic users. This is a power that is passed down to others upon death. That's where the phrase "succession of the witches" comes into play from that song. And Zell is busy trying to provoke Cypher. And he has said something stupid. You're gonna take him back to the garden. Revealing that we are seed mercenaries from the garden. And now Delling offers the ultimatum that if they do anything to him, Galbadia will invade Balam Garden and destroy it. Although it's kind of interesting that they use the phrase "the garden" and not specifically Balam Garden, because there are multiple gardens. It's just, I think seed only comes from... I think seed cadets are only trained or graduate from Balam or something along those lines. I can't quite remember what the distinction between Balam and the other gardens are. And now we have the introduction of Sorceress Edea. Edea, like a few other characters we haven't met yet, was designed for Final Fantasy VII but didn't make the cut for that game. Tetsuya Nomura was trying to emulate, what's his name? Amano's style, who did character designs for the Final Fantasy games prior to 7. And Amano also did artwork on 9, but I think 9's main art director was either was neither Nomura nor Amano, which I didn't know until the PAX Sakaguchi panel. It was actually Hideo Manaba, because in Sakaguchi's words, Nomura's style is just a little too much, and they were trying with 9 to get it back to the series' roots. And they were trying to make this kind of nostalgic blend of new and old, with elements of 6 and 7. This whole exchange between Edea and Cypher in the group. It's golden, by the way. I love Edea's manipulation and challenging Cypher's sense of maturity and his emotional crossroads. His little heel turn is a little sudden, but yeah, I still think that whole sequence is pretty cool. By the way, if you were paying attention to the words in the background of that song, once again you hear Phthos Lusec Wakos Venusec, which, in case you forgot, is an anagram for Succession of the Witches. One of the main themes of the game, along with the word love, that's also in that anagram. So that's the witch manipulating time and space, the same sorceress who Galbadian President Binzer Delling wants to appoint as his ambassador for his meeting with the world leaders of the other nations. And to pile on the bad news, the Forest Owl's base has been completely destroyed, but no worries because they're all cowards, so they're really, really good at escaping. Oh man, this whole section in Timber is so much better than I remembered it being. Oh, except, where am I going here? Oh, there. Towards the back of the screen, not the front. Couldn't get down the stairs. Seed elite mercenaries can murder whoever you want for hire. Fucking stairs? That shit's not happening. That is the impossible task. I hope you don't need us to liberate you from oppressive stairs. Seed's not up for the job. Anyway, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one.